Hello everybody, and welcome to this beautiful spot for another Pilates class. Today I'm going to give you some exercises that you should recognise from earlier classes and some new ones in the prone position, which is lying on your front. I am going to go on a bit about keeping your lower back in the right position, and what you should be doing there is pushing your pubic bone. That's the bone at the bottom of your pelvis when you're standing up. You should be pushing that towards the floor to flatten out your lower back while you're lying on your front. And that is the most important thing about prone exercises. If you do nothing else, just lie on your front, pushing your pubic bone towards the floor. If you can, then manage to do the exercises, the other movements, whilst maintaining that position with your pelvis. When you get up out of the prone position, turn onto your side and then push yourself up. Don't do a huge arch by pushing up on your arms, otherwise you're undoing all the good work we've just done protecting your back. So you'll also see some exercises that you've done before, so I won't go over the detail of how to do them again. I'm going to put in the description below the links to where you can see how to do those exercises in more detail if they're not so familiar. But also, if you're finding that they're not familiar, perhaps have a look at some of the earlier lessons so that you learn how to do them with me. For each of the exercises in this block here, I'm also going to do them with you with some slightly dodgy video editing, so sorry about that. Hopefully I'm a better Pilates teacher than I am a video editor. But it should give you an opportunity to do them along with me and follow the voiceover if you can't see me all the time because you're moving. Hopefully that's helpful. Please give me some comments, let me know whether it's useful or not, or if you'd like to see anything different, if there are any further explanations you want, or if there are any other exercises you'd like to do. Okay, thanks very much and enjoy. Talk you through it while you do some pelvic tilt and shoulder bridge. Let's find that semi-supine position, feet on the floor, knees bent, lying down on your back, and little gap between your lower back and the floor where you can just get a squashed hand in. For the first couple, we're just going to tilt the pelvis. The pelvis isn't going to leave the floor. So you exhale, pull your lower abs in, and push your pubic bone towards the sky by pulling your tummy in, and your lower back will squash into the floor. And inhale to come back down. Next one, same again. Make sure that you're not pushing down on your feet to achieve that tilt. Exhale as you come up, using the muscles in your torso to achieve that tilt. And then inhaling to come back down. This time going a bit further. Exhale, pull your lower abs in, tilt your pelvis again, same as before. But then when you get to the end of that tilt, push down on your feet to take the weight of your pelvis off the floor. Then control your pelvis back down onto the floor and untilt your pelvis all on an inhale. Same again. Exhale as you tilt your pelvis without pushing down on your feet, and then push down on your feet to take your pelvis off the floor. And then begin the inhale as you then lay your pelvis back down on the floor and then untilt to get back to where you started. Exhale, tilt your pelvis, push down on your feet, take your pelvis off the floor, and then keep going as you peel your spine off the floor. So it's a sequential movement of your spine. There we are, inhale back down. So you get that nice sequential movement in your spine. Same again. Exhale as you tilt the pelvis and then push down on your feet to lift your pelvis off the floor, and keep exhaling as you peel off, and then inhale as you sequentially lay the spine back down on the floor, and then eventually take the weight off your feet to let your pelvis back down and untilt. Do the version of obliques that follows on from sit-ups. First off, let's find that semi-supine position. Feet flat on the floor, hip distance apart, knees bent, hip distance apart, little gap between your lower back and the floor. And then you want to have one hand behind your head and the other hand coming across your body and resting on the side of the opposite hip. And just like a normal sit-up, you inhale to prepare and then exhale, pull your lower abs in and curl up. At the top of the curl, you pause, and then you keep exhaling as you slide that hand out along the opposite leg and reach towards the knee. Then you reach slightly further with the shoulder, just an inch, maybe two, and you'll feel your obliques working. And then you inhale as you go all the way back down. Then because you inhale down, you're ready to exhale to go straight up again. Once you come up in the sit-up, then slide that hand down the side of the opposite leg. Once the fingers are pointing towards the knee, keep exhaling as you reach that little bit further with the shoulder and the straight arm. And then inhale all the way down. Do one more on this side. So exhale to come up into the sit-up. Then keep exhaling as you slide opposite hand down the side of the leg until your fingers are pointing at your knee. Then reach that little bit further by moving the shoulder towards the knee. And then inhale all the way down. So now you've done 3 on one side, and we'll switch over and do 3 on the other side. I'll just pause while you switch hands over. I'm going to do the same side again because I'm cheating. Now we're ready to sit up again on the exhale, and then keep exhaling as you slide opposite hand down the side of the leg. And then once the fingers are pointing at the knee, exhale to slide that little bit further out. And inhale all the way down. Once you're down on the inhale, you're ready to exhale straight up again. So begin the exhale, pull in the lower abs and curl up. Keep exhaling to slide that hand out along the side of the leg. Point the fingers towards the knee, exhale a little bit more and reach that little bit further with the shoulder. And inhale back down. Last one. Exhale as you come up. Keep exhaling as you slide that hand along the leg and then reach towards the knee. Get a little bit of extra reach by moving the shoulder to switch the oblique on. And then inhale as you come all the way down for the last time. Hi, we're going to learn about the prone position, which is another really important position in Pilates. There aren't so many exercises that start in this position, but it's still a really important one to understand because it teaches you about protecting your lower back in your normal life and how to move while you're protecting your lower back. So it's not a very comfortable position, and it's kind of difficult for you to hear me in that position, so I might move the mic for this one just so you can hear me a bit more. Hopefully that's better. So I'm lying on my front. Looks easy, right? And I've got my arms stretched out in a Y shape in front of me. I've got my knees and feet approximately together. And then there's more to think about here rather than just lying on your front and squashing your nose. You need to push your pubic bone towards the floor, which will feel like you're using the muscles in your bum quite a lot, and also try to pull your tummy in as though you're trying to pull your tummy away from the floor. So hopefully what you can see there is that that's flattened out my lower back. So if I stop doing that stuff, you can see my lower back go down, and if I start pushing my pubic bone towards the floor and pulling my tummy in, it flattens out. So all of the exercises in prone, lying on your front, need to have your pubic bone pushed towards the floor and your tummy pulled in to protect your lower back and keep it flattened out. If while you're doing an exercise in prone, you feel that you can't do it without letting your lower back collapse, then you need to do less of that exercise. I don't mean don't do that exercise, I mean do less of the movement that's making you drop your lower back until you're more used to keeping your pubic bone pushed towards the floor so that you can keep your lower back flat. Because that's more important than moving your arms or lifting your shoulders up, whatever it may be. So just try and bear that in mind in prone exercises. So it's really simple what we're going to do here, just starting to learn to move in this position. So keeping my pubic bone pushed towards the floor and my tummy pulled in, I inhale and my shoulders come up around my ears, my hands slide out along the floor, and then as I exhale, slide my shoulders down my back. Not so far they pinch in, but just down my back there. And then I inhale again. And exhale, draw my shoulders down my back. And that's the whole thing, it's just prone shoulder shrugs. That's all we're going to do for now. There's more to come in prone, but not in your first lesson. So when you're finished in prone, we've just spent all that time protecting your lower back. Let's make sure that we don't spoil that by then doing a horrible arch where your lower back drops and then you push your chest up on your arms. So the way to get out of that prone position, protecting your lower back, is you turn onto your side and then you can push yourself up to sitting. Much nicer for your lower back. So here we are for prone shoulder shrugs. We're going to get into the prone position, so that's on your front, and unfortunately you have to squash your nose a bit, face down, and then in the prone position you want to think about having your pubic bone, that's the bone at the bottom of your pelvis when you're standing up, have that pushed towards the floor, and pulling your tummy in as much as you can so your lower back is flattened out, and you want it to stay like that throughout all the prone exercises. It's more important that you keep that position with your pelvis and your lower back than it is that you do the movements correctly. So really concentrate on that and get that right from the first attempt. So in that prone position, we inhale and your hands reach out along the floor and your shoulders will come up around your ears, and then you exhale as you draw your shoulders back down your body and stop before they pinch together in the middle of your back. And then because you exhaled on the way back to the starting position, you can just inhale to reach out again, and then exhale, draw your shoulders down. And again, inhale as you reach out along the floor, shoulders come up around your ears, exhale as you draw your shoulders down your back. Make sure your pubic bone is still pushed towards the floor to protect your lower back. Inhale, hands out along the floor, shoulders up around your ears, exhale to draw them back down to where you started. And keep moving as you breathe. Inhale as you reach out, exhale, draw your shoulders down your back so you get a feeling for how your shoulders can move. And once more, inhale out and exhale back. I'm going to show you a small back extension in prone. The important thing here is not how high you can lift. The important thing is that you can move in this direction without letting your lower back collapse. Okay, so here I am in the prone position. I've got my arms out in front of me here, and I'm pushing my pubic bone towards the floor, so my bum's working quite hard, and I'm pulling my tummy in away from the floor. And I've got to keep that going while I do the exercise itself. So the exercise itself starts like one you may have seen already, which is a shoulder shrug. So I inhale, shoulders slide out along the floor, hands slide out along the floor. Exhale, draw my shoulders down my back. And at the end of that draw down, I then push down on my arms to bring my head and shoulders up. Now most of my weight is still on my arms there, and I haven't come up very far, and I'm not looking forwards, I'm still looking down at the mat. But the important thing is I haven't let my lower back collapse. So I'm just going to show you what you really shouldn't do. You shouldn't let your lower back collapse like that. You've got to keep your pubic bone pushed towards the floor so your lower back's flattened out. So it's an exhale to come up, and it's an inhale to come down. So I would start really small with that one, just like I showed you there. Eventually, you can come as high as you like, so long as you're keeping your lower back flat. But that's really hard to do, and it's also nasty for your back if you get it wrong. So until you're absolutely sure that you're managing to keep your lower back flat, just do a really small one, and check what's going on. Maybe video yourself or feel with your hand, make sure your lower back's staying flat and not collapsing. Here we are for a small back extension. We're going to start in the prone position, so that's lying on your front with your nose squashed against the mats. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but that's just where we start for this one. So in the prone position, you want to push your pubic bone, that's the bone at the bottom of your pelvis when you're standing up. Push that towards the floor as much as you can, which will flatten out your lower back, and pull your tummy away from the floor as much as you can, and that will help to stabilize it. And you want to keep that position with your pelvis and lower back throughout all the prone exercises. So this one starts like the shoulder shrugs. You inhale, hands go forwards along the floor, shoulders come up around your ears. Exhale, draw your shoulders down. But then at the end of that exhale, you've drawn your shoulders down. You then keep exhaling and you lift your head and shoulders up. And then inhale as you go back down. Each time making sure that your lower back doesn't dip. So inhale, shoulders go out along the mat, hands go out along the floor. Exhale, draw your shoulders down. And then keep exhaling as you lift your head and your shoulders up. Notice that my lower back doesn't dip as I do that, my pelvis doesn't move as I do that. Then inhale as you go back down and you're ready to go again. Inhale, reach your arms out along the ground. Exhale, draw your shoulders down along your back, hands will slide along the floor. Keep exhaling as head and shoulders come up. Keep pushing your pubic bone towards the floor to protect your lower back and keep it flat. Then inhale as you go back down. And keep inhaling as you slide your hands out along the floor and your shoulders come up around your ears. Exhale, draw your shoulders down your back. Keep exhaling as you push down on the arms to bring your head and shoulders up, protecting your lower back by keeping it flat, pushing your pubic bone towards the floor. Then inhale as you go back down again. Same again, inhale as you reach out. Exhale, draw your shoulders down your back. Then keep exhaling as you lift head and shoulders up. And then inhale to return back to the starting position. Last one, inhale as you reach out along the floor. Exhale, draw your shoulders down your back. Then keep exhaling as you lift your head up. Keep looking down at the mat. And protect your lower back by pushing your pubic bone towards the floor. Then inhale as you come back down. And then once you're done, to get out of this position, turn onto your side and push yourself up. Don't go into a massive arch with your back after we've done all that good work to protect your lower back in this prone position. This exercise I'm going to teach you is on your side, and that's a new position for us. It's called Sideline double leg lift. And there's some balance involved here. It's always fun for me to watch as people wobble about. Okay, so here I am on my side. I've got my arm stretched out there with my head resting on it. I'm trying to have my heels and my bum and my shoulders all in a line. And I'm imagining if I was looking in a mirror, I'm looking straight into my eyes. I'm not looking down at my feet or up there. I'm just looking straight ahead. I'll show you the whole thing and then I'll tell you how to build up into it. So I've got really straight legs. So if you've got straight legs, you've got straight knees. I inhale, and then as I exhale, of course, I pull my lower abs in and I lift my head off my arm there and my legs off the ground. Not very far, as you can see, that's the whole thing, and then inhale to go back down. Now hopefully I made that look easy, but it generally isn't, especially when you start out. You'll find you wobble about a lot like this. So the way to get started with it, so you feel like you're making progress and to teach your body how to balance, is put this hand on the floor there. So you can start doing a few with your hand on the floor there, so you get used to it, and then before you stop wobbling, before it becomes super easy to do that, move on to maybe just one finger there on the floor while you try and lift up. And then you can try lifting up with your hand just hovering there to check you if you lose your balance. And then the next stage would be hand on hip while you try and lift up. And then the next stage would be hand up in the air. Now, your body's wobbling and learning how to balance. So you have to allow it to wobble a bit to learn that. If you get this one down really well so you're not wobbling at all, and then move on to the next one, you could have progressed faster. So get the hang of it while you're still a bit wobbly there, move on to the next stage, and you'll be more wobbly and you'll get used to that. But before you finish wobbling, move on to the next stage and the next stage. So your body will learn better if it's wobbling. So I would do 10 exhales to lift up, inhale to come down. I would do 10 of those on each side. Watch out for that lower leg there. You can see mine's just started to do it. It starts to bend, it wants to cheat. So just make sure that underneath the knee stays straight. So 10 on one side, 10 on the other side. Really small lift. As soon as your ear is off your arm and your knee is off the floor, you've come far enough and you can go back down. 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, and that is the sideline double leg lift. So we've done a gentle amount of work there. Nothing too challenging, I hope, but enough to start you thinking about different ways of feeling while you're moving and being aware of different muscles and being really precise in the ways that you move. As we progress on to more challenging things and harder work as well, stretching will become important as well. But just to keep this down to a relatively short video, I'm not going to do stretching today. And because we haven't done any really hard work, I'm not going to do it today, but there's plenty of stretching to come. Maybe I'll cover that in the next class. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave me some comments and some feedback. I'd like this to become a thing. I'd like to expand this, so I'm really interested to know about what you think of the content, how I'm delivering it, whether you like my trousers. Out of all the trousers I've got, my wife's in lockdown where we're not actually at home. These are the best trousers I could find. She doesn't like any of my other ones. Video quality, setting, sound, all of it's useful information. So please let me know, leave me some comments. Thank you very much. Okay, lying on your side for the sideline double leg lift. You want to have your heels and your bum and your shoulder in line. And then you want to have a little bit of tension between your underneath shoulder and your underneath hip, so they're pulling towards each other slightly. Dead straight legs, so make sure that your knees are straight. I'm going to be doing top hand reaching up towards the sky. If you're just starting out, that might be a bit too challenging, so you can have your top hand on the floor, or you could have just one finger on the floor, or you could have your hand just hovering above the floor to catch you if you start to wobble too much. But do challenge yourself and keep a bit of wobble in it as you're learning. That way you'll learn faster. So then you exhale as you lift up your legs and your head, and then you inhale as you lower back down again. Exhale as you lift, and inhale as you lower. Once you come down each time, make sure that you're totally relaxed so that you have to deliberately recruit the right muscles again. So that's exhale to lift and inhale to lower. If you're wondering how far to come up, you exhale to lift, and as soon as your underneath knee is off the floor and your head is off the floor, your head is off your arm, you've come far enough up. And inhale to go back down, and then exhale to come back up. As you do more and more reps, you'll notice that your underneath leg starts to bend, so just make sure that it's still straight at the knee. So we've done 5, got 5 to go on this side. That's exhale up and inhale down. So just keep moving as you breathe. So each time you exhale, you're coming up. Each time you inhale, you're coming down. Keep making sure those legs stay straight. And exhale up. Try and balance there. And inhale down again. And again, exhale as you come up. Try and balance there. And inhale down. Really small movement. Keep challenging yourself with the balance if you haven't got your hand up into the sky yet. Okay, so that's 10 on this side. So now just take your time moving over to the other side. You need to put your heels and your bum and your shoulder in line. You can use the edge of the mat to get that right. And then you need to be reaching your underneath arm out along the floor so your head can rest on it. And then wherever you are with the balance, just work on that. So either hand up towards the sky, or top hand on the floor, or one finger on the floor, or hand hovering above the floor. Keep challenging yourself to make it harder. That way you'll progress. But just get it right for you. Take your time getting yourself set up in that position. You'll find with all these sided exercises, one side is totally different to the other side. So then we're ready to do 10 on this side. You'll see through the wonders of my video editing, I'm going to do the same side again, but at least that gives me a chance to talk you through it and count you through it and so on, so you remember where you are and where to breathe. Okay, so let's inhale to prepare, and then exhale, put your lower abs in to lift up. So that's head and legs coming up, and then inhale to come back down. And because you've inhaled to come back down, you're ready to exhale to come up for the second one. And inhale back down again. And then exhale up. Check that underneath leg staying straight. And inhale back down. And then exhale up. And inhale down. If you're having trouble with the balance, keep challenging yourself so that you keep a bit of wobble in it. Maybe move up a level If you've got your hand on the floor, try taking your hand off the floor or just using one finger so the balance keeps being challenging. And then exhale up and inhale down. 4 to go. Exhale up and inhale down. Check those legs are still straight. And just remember, not lifting very high. As soon as your ear's off your arm, you've come up high enough. As soon as your underneath knees off the floor, you've come up high enough with the legs. Inhale down. Exhale up, last 2. And inhale down. And then last 1. Let's exhale up. And inhale down. Well, that's it for this class. Thanks for coming along and having a go. Please do send me your comments and feedback. Let me know what else you'd like to see, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see more of, so I can make better lessons for you. Cheers.